95, 96, 97. See, I told you. Less than 100 steps from our place to here.
You got way too much free time, man.
Hey.
Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 250. It is the fourth day of the week, aka the Buster Cannon workout. Yes, I have switched out my days because I went back to my upper, lower type of day. So I decided to do that instead. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today. So whilst going to the gym and getting some of these things that are out here about generalized me going somewhere to do something, like the gym, I wanted to talk about something that I bring up every once in a while, which is the third place, and just the third place in general, how it's no longer much of a thing, how I'm getting rid of my third place, other things like that, and its nature. I guess I'll start with this, in that saying that the third place is something that was a cultural phenomena that was a very, very, not necessarily popularized, but very prominent in, like I would say the early 2000s, maybe even before then. But I would say the downfall of such places really began after 2010, I would say. Once ubiquitous Wi-Fi laptops that didn't weigh 50 fucking pounds and things like that kind of sort of melded all together to make it so that these places, you could just do everything that you would really want to do at home, plus housing prices, but that's kind of a whole other subject. But those types of things have made it so the third place has just kind of dissipated and disappeared. Not necessarily gone away, nor are there people who don't end up using them. There are other third places that are there. I'll probably do a definition just to be more exact in the voiceover, but they are definitely diminishing. And I'll also talk about one third place that happens at the house that nobody really ever talks about, but we'll talk about that in the voiceover. But for now, I want to say the main reason why this came up is because I think after yesterday's video right here, I discussed the pros and cons of the home gym versus the gym, and now I've basically decided that I'm going to not be going to the gym anymore and just get everything that I need so I can do everything at the home gym. So then that way I don't have this stuff to do. All the traveling, the paying for parking, the checking in, the putting away my shit, you know, all that stuff, all the extra little necessities in order to just get there and just eliminate all of that. Sure, certain movements might be a little bit inferior to their in-gym machine counterparts, but also at the same time, I can probably find things that are really fucking close. So I'd rather just deal with that and really do that instead of having to come here. But while being able to come here, I do want to talk about the idea of this being somebody's third place, which it is. I've discussed it before in this episode right here about the gym. Groups of people at the gym. So I wanted to get more of those ideas out, especially since the days of me actually going to a gym is a little numbered. I wouldn't say completely numbered, because in the near future, I will probably be doing the 150 subscriber special, hopefully. Let's see soon. And then that might, maybe, hopefully it doesn't, but maybe it'll intercross with the 300th episode, although I hope it comes sooner than that, really do. So we'll have to wait and see. But that'll be for a different gym, a different day, and a different story. But for now, I guess we'll go, when we get inside, we'll talk a lot about the third place, what it is, what it may not be, and other things along those lines, and how it has gone into a downfall, really, from what it once was to now a mere former shell of itself. But with that being said, I will see you on the inside. Alright, so started this day out with seated knee curls, which were pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand here. The third place, or the elimination of the third place. So there are multiple factors that go into something like this, like the elimination. But before we get into that, let's give it a little bit of more of a definition. So, in sociology, the third place refers to the social surroundings that are separate from the two usual social environments of a home, the first place, and the workplace, the second place. Examples of a third place include churches, cafes, bars, clubs, libraries, gyms, bookstores, hacker spaces, stoops, parks, and theaters, among others. So that, it gives you a general idea of what the third place is. In my case here, it is the gym. I'm slowly getting to the point where I'm going to eliminate this third place from my life, which is weird. It's very interesting because I don't mind going here, but there are a lot of issues that come up when going here that I think most people kind of deal with when it comes to these third places now. Not all the time, but I think there are enough commonalities. So for me personally, I have to deal with the drive, which is not that bad, but that would make more sense for there to be a third place if we were in walkable areas or not in the suburbs or something like that. If you're in like a city, that makes sense, but you have to deal with other things if you're in the city, like for example parking, which is something that I have to deal with here. I have to pay for parking. It's not free. It's not as easy as some other third places might make it. So there's that. And then I think one of the bigger factors from this is dealing with people. I think people that you don't know in places like this can lead to the idea of going somewhere less. I think not everybody wants to get along whenever you go to something like, let's say, a gym or a library. You're gonna get a variety of people going there. Now at the gym, thankfully, most people that are there for a reason. You know, they wanna do some type of physical activity, whether it be use the machines or play basketball or cardio or even a yoga class. It's all there for a reason, but you kind of have to deal with certain random factors of people that you don't know whilst in there. Now, thankfully, everybody in the gym is relatively nice, but also you don't know if somebody's sick. So I've gotten sick multiple times from people from the gym. That has happened. Also, the parking garage that I use right next to the gym, it usually has at least a car getting broken into every once in a while. So that's something you kind of have to deal with as well, which involves people as well. I think that generally it is an issue of trust more so than anything that kind of has deteriorated the idea of the third place. But as well, 2020 also adding a level of the deterioration of the third place, plus the economy and the way that it is shaping up to be. Everything is just too expensive, that to the point where you're better off just making a pot of coffee at home rather than going to a cafe to buy a overpriced latte. Obviously that changes things as well, because I don't want to go to a barber shop and pay $75 for a haircut. I'd rather just do it on my own and mess it up. Well, you get what I mean. I don't have hair, but still, you get what I'm saying. The biggest factor has been the adoption, basically, of the digital third place, the internet. I think the internet has made it so people just don't want to go anywhere. The fact that you can go to a place to get the social interactions that you would have gotten from in a third location on your phone or on a computer means you don't have to leave. You don't have to go anywhere. You can stay at home and just do what you want to do when in terms of social interactions on any of the platforms that you want. And to make it even better, you could become a person that you aren't even in real life. You could be whoever you want to be on the internet, because everybody tells the exact truth on the internet and no one ever lies. Like, you can do whatever you want. And it's kind of crazy that that is what people are replacing it with, but it's just such an ease of use, and it's the bar of entry is so low that you just might as well just do that. And I think that's not good for a lot of different reasons, because I think that that's eroding our social skills in real life, and thus that's what's causing a little bit of a deterioration on wanting to go to these places. Me personally, I just don't want to go because I need the time to do other things. But even still, if it made it, even if I could save the time, there's also other factors like having to wait and having to do other things at the gym that just don't make it worth it. I'd rather just save my time or save myself from having to deal with the headache of others, which is the hard part. I'd rather just deal with them in here, digitally. Also, the third place that I alluded to earlier in the video at home was the living room, because the living room is kind of used, but not nearly as it once was. Now, because of the internet, people just kind of go into their own separate rooms now. And we're back! Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed. None exercises skipped, also none. I got everything in, thankfully. I am pretty tired. The gym was super packed beyond way more than I thought, so that was even more so of a con. And also the ticket guys were walking around, so yeah. But anyways, back to the main subject matter. The third place. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because I think I'm going to be losing my third place, and I'm fine with that. Mostly because I have no interest in making this my third place. I don't necessarily care to come here every day. I do see one person that I talked to. I saw him today. I talked to him for a little bit, and then I was like, hey, maybe in a couple months, let's go get food together with another friend of ours, a mutual friend. So he was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And then that's it. Like, that's all you had to do. And I told him, I was like, yeah, my days coming here are numbered because I have a feeling that I do not want to have to deal with all of the bullshit when coming here. So it is something that you kind of have to outweigh the pros and the cons of those types of places. They can be good, but they also can be a burden depending, because sometimes they can cost you money. Sometimes they can cost you time. Sometimes they can actually be detrimental and you don't even realize it, right? But for me personally, this is just more of a time thing. I have most of the things that I need at home. The money I can save and all that other stuff I can do at home, but I've already talked about this. The main thing I wanted to say about this was that the third place is becoming less and less of a thing nowadays. Now there has to be I feel like a re-rendering of what that third place is that isn't necessarily digital, because the digital one is taken over as the third place, where there are little pockets and safe havens everywhere on the internet. But the issue with the internet is that it gives people a false sense of security on what social interactions should and can be. Really, most of the time social interactions obviously are dependent on where they're at, even on the internet, but still it is nothing like in person. You never really get to connect with someone somewhere else, and they are becoming few and far between. But I have a feeling that this upcoming few years, I have a feeling that people will return to the past a lot when it comes to doing things more analog. Like, you'll see people with like actual cameras going around instead of just their phones or things like that. I feel like they're slowly bringing back old school type of technologies just to give people something different. It's just gives something more of a tangible thing. Nothing like having like a Polaroid camera on a night out, because it's something you'll just remember. You'll have the physical picture. It's not like when you have it, take it on your phone. Yeah, you might see it randomly if you decide to look at it, but most of the time those things get lost. See all fireworks photos ever, or this episode. I think I talked about it. I might have not. I don't know. If I didn't, then I'll just have a giant question mark here. But still, it's one of those things that these types of areas or things are just starting to dwindle ever so slightly, and I don't know how or what we could do to replace them in real life, because obviously the internet is like what people would say would be the replacement, but I don't think that that's a good replacement. We need something where you can physically go, hang out, have a good time, buy something if you want to, or not, but hang out with other people that are into the same shit, and also let it not be fucking weird. That's the other thing too. But there's always going to be that sense of weirdness no matter where you're at. That's a whole other story for a whole other day. But I just wanted to talk about this mostly because I'm like almost out of the gym at this point, so I really wanted to talk about that. So with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. This one was a random one, but it kind of makes sense with the flow of things of how they've been happening. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thanks again for watching. Please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.